So the next example, they want us to evaluate these using technology or your calculator. It's really interesting to me, in elementary school, your elementary school teachers will tell you to use mental math. There's a reason for that. They want you to learn your times tables and your addition facts and subtraction facts and your division facts. And if you don't use a calculator and you have to think about it, you tend to learn them better. It's also good for you to think things through, but at some point the math gets really complicated and you shouldn't do it in your head. It gets too much for some to do in your head. So then we use a calculator. I have a degree in math. I had homework assignments that we had to write programs for on computers to actually crank through the math. So there was no way that in a reasonable time frame that I could actually make these calculations. So at some point you transition from mental math to calculators. Okay, and it's interesting because sometimes it's funny because kids are like, my teacher told me I can't. Well, you couldn't when you were in the second grade, but now you should. So the first one is 9 raised to the 1/5. You're going to get this, all right? And so I'm going to actually screenshot that, and then we're going to talk about how you round it. Because it says round to the... This is another thing that we teach you a very long time ago, and sometimes you get practice with it and sometimes you don't. So when I plug this in the calculator, this is what I got. So when they say round to 2 decimal places, that means here is where we're rounding to. So I'm either going to make that a 5 or a 6. How do I decide? Well, I look at this number here, okay? I look at that number there, and then if it's 4 or lower, then I just keep this number. If that number is 5 or higher, then I round up. Well, this is lower than 4. So I'm just going to write this as 1.55. Okay, just a little refresh on the rounding. So now let's do the next one. 12 to the 3/8. So I'm just going to say 12 raised to the 3 divided by 8. And again, I'm going to take a screenshot of that. Got some little smudge there. Again, we're going to look, we're rounding to the second decimal place, so that's either going to be a 3 or a 4. It depends on this number. This number is 9, which is 5 or higher. So I'm going to round up, so this becomes 2.54. Do you guys remember that? The rounding? Okay, so now this next one we got to do in the calculator. And this is the part that always makes me sad when I say practice this on your calculator. A lot of times kids don't practice it on their calculator the whole time, every time we do it in class, and they just don't do it. And then when it comes time for the test, they go, I don't remember how to do it on the calculator. And I'm like, well, why would you? You didn't do it in class. So please grab your calculators and do this. So I'm going to start my parentheses first. And then remember, we hit what button? What button do we hit to get that radical symbol? Math. And we scroll down to the 5th option. Okay. And then from there, we just plug it in. So it's the 4th root of 7 raised to the 3rd power. So I'm going to put 4, use my cursor, 7. Then I got it. See this little triangle? That's saying if you want to get out of the radical, you got to hit the right arrow. And then I close my parentheses. Then I raise that to the 3rd power. Well, bam, with the bacon sizzle, I've got 4.3 and some change. Let's screenshot that. Is that what you guys got when you did it on your own? Okay. Now what's another way to do this one? You could do it, and I know that you guys get tired of me writing it down, but I'm really trying to teach you through repetition. That could be the base of 7 raised to the power, which is 3 over 4. So let's try that on our calculator. 7 raised to the 3 over 4 should be the same thing. See how that works? Power over root. Alright, well, we got to round this bad boy. We're gonna, because we're rounding to 2 decimal places, we look at the third one. 3 is 4 or lower, so you keep the 0 and this becomes 4.30. Uh-oh, clicked the wrong thing. Okay, any questions? That's it.